So The Jungle Book is Disney's latest live-action remake of a classic animated film and is directed by Jon Favreau. If you've seen or read pretty much any version of The Jungle Book, you already know what the story is, so I'm not going to spend any time telling you. So Disney's apparently been running out of ideas recently. They just can't seem to come up with any original concepts, so they just seem to be going down the list of remaking pretty much every animated film they've ever made, and so far it hasn't gone incredibly well. I mean, Cinderella was okay, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland was meh at best, and Maleficent straight up sucked. So with all that kept in mind, when this movie was announced, I really wasn't all that excited for it. But then some of the trailers came out and it kind of piqued my interest, but not too much. Now I have a confession to make. I wish I could be dishonest with you and tell you that I saw this movie because I love the original classic story, or I love the voice cast that they have, or I love the director that they picked, but no. I saw this movie because Christopher Walken is playing the orangutan. That is literally the only reason why I wanted to see this movie, is because Christopher Walken is playing King Louie. Now for those of you who don't know who Christopher Walken is, A, what's wrong with you? And B, he is one of America's national treasures. Now for me, if Christopher Walken is in your movie, then I automatically have to like the movie, by default. Like, I don't have a choice in the matter. If Christopher Walken's in it, I have to enjoy it. And yes, that's including movies like the Country Bears movie and Geely. Those movies are terrible, but since he's in it, I have to enjoy them because Christopher Walken is in it. I mean, just look at some of the scenes with this guy and tell me that you're not entertained.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Country Bear Hall has been crushed!
Go down to Marie Callender's. Get me a big bowl. Pie, some ice cream on it. Good. Put some on your head. Your tongue would slap your brains out trying to get to it. Interested? Sure.
What is this, a parade? Move these people. Back! What are you doing? Come on, go home. Watch television. Good guys win.
Put your hands up.
No.
What?
I said no.
Why not?
I don't want to.
But I've got a gun.
I don't care.
Doesn't make any sense.
Too bad.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Oh, Walken. You're just so Walken-y. Now I said to myself, if this movie features Christopher Walken as the orangutan and he sings I Want to Be Like You, we're looking at a perfect 10. Spoiler alert, he does, and it is the greatest thing to ever happen in the history of anything ever. Joking aside, how is the movie? It's good. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's definitely better than the other Disney live-action remakes that have happened recently, but yeah, it's fine. It's good. Now, one of the things that made me worried about this movie was the extreme use of CGI. Over 99% of this movie is CGI. Really, the only character in the movie who isn't CGI is Mowgli. Luckily though, the movie does look really good. I mean, from a visual standpoint, it looks stupendous. The environments of course look great, but some of the animals looked like actual real animals, minus the part where they talk. Okay, obviously they're not real animals, but still, the point is they look really good. Now let's talk about the cast for this movie a second. First of all, Neil Seddy, who played Mowgli, did a pretty good job. He is really young and this is his first movie, so there are a few awkward deliveries here and there, but overall, he did a really good job acting towards characters who he wouldn't see until they were generated on a computer. The voice cast is great as well. I mean, Bill Murray as Baloo, come on. I mean, that's just perfect right there. I really did like the relationship between Mowgli and Baloo. It felt really like organic and fresh, and it was a nice like fresh take on their relationship than it was in the past animated movie and the book that it's based on. And yeah, I really like those two characters. Ben Kingsley was also pretty good as Bagheera, especially the animation on Bagheera looks really, really good. I also liked a lot of the stuff with the wolves. I kind of like how they explored more of Mowgli's relationship with the wolves, because I feel like that's something that's kind of been glossed over in past versions of The Jungle Book, and it was nice to see it done here. And then we get to who I think was one of the coolest characters in the movie, who is Idris Elba as Shere Khan. Idris Elba is quickly growing on that list of just actors who can do anything, because he is really scary in this movie. He really is an interesting and intimidating villain, and this is probably the best version of this character we've seen ever, really. And then of course, the king himself, Christopher Walken as King Louie. Oh, it's so good! I mean, it's Christopher Walken. I have to love it, because Christopher Walken is in it. I just have to like it by default. I don't have a choice in the matter, because Christopher Walken is Christopher Walken. With that said though, even King Louie is kind of scary. Look at him, he's freaking huge! Why is he so big? Is King Louie or King Kong? It was so weird, he felt like he was the Godfather as a monkey. It was just, oh, it was so fun to watch. But I can't help but feel like that scene was kind of out of place. You see, first they try to make King Louie seem really dark and intimidating, and then he starts singing that song with the really upbeat music, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah, it didn't really make much sense, with the tone at least. And that leads me to what I think is one of this movie's biggest problems. While there is a fair amount of humor in it, this movie really wants you to take it seriously. It tries to add this whole lore to this world, which it's not bad, it's just like it did feel like it got a little too melodramatic at some points. However, we're not talking Batman v Superman levels of depressing. There are really some enjoyable parts in this movie. Also, if you're looking for a really original story or something that's going to be drastically different from the old Jungle Book movies, you're not really going to get it here. Overall, this is the same story that you've heard before. There are a lot of differences, and yes, it is a lot darker than the animated version, but overall, as a whole, it's pretty much the exact same story. When I walked out of this movie, I thought, yeah, that was fine, that was okay, but the more I think about it, the more I like it. Even though this movie is darker than the original animated film, it does really capture that sense of wonder and enjoyment from the original Jungle Book film. While I don't think it's as good as a lot of critics have made it out to be, it's definitely far from bad. So anyway, that's all I got. If you hated this review, sorry. If you liked it, I'll make more in the future. Maybe, I don't know. See you guys later.